We're here speaking with Henry Paul of the Outlaws. They're going to be here in Tucson on Saturday night, March 16th, over at the Rialto Theater. Henry, looking forward to seeing you here in Tucson this weekend.
Well, I'll tell you, man, if there's ever a place where we don't get much, it would be Arizona. So we're excited to come.
Yeah, when was the last time you were here? I can't remember. It seems like it's been quite a few years.
It has. It's been at least 10 years. The last time I was there, I played some hoity-toity venue, like some private little affair. And it wasn't a private show, but it was in this venue that was like part of an exclusive desert trappings and so how do you say it, Sequoia or
Oh,
Segura
the saguaro?
cactuses or whatever they
Oh,
are.
yeah, the saguaro cactuses.
All right. But it had to be 10 years ago. I mean, the Outlaws just, I think we played there with Kid Rock, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that was,
Uh,
I think Kid Rock played here about a decade ago.
and
Uh,
we were on that show, and that's probably the last time we were there.
So, what can fans expect from an Outlaws performance on Saturday night, especially for some of them who maybe haven't seen you in quite a while?
Yeah. Well, they probably haven't. I'm assuming that they haven't, but the band plays very faithful to its musical personality. Being a founding member, being a part of an architect of that sound and the musical personality that evolved. I've put the band back together in a very, very faithful rendition of that band. Now, the band has written two studio albums in the last 15 years, and we do play new music from those records. But of course, we play all the songs that people associate with the group. We play Freeborn Man, Hurry Sundown, Greengrass, and There Goes Another Love Song. And so, when people come out to see the Outlaws, they just love the band because it's really, really, the musicianship is at a very high level, and it's exactly what they recall as being what the band was. And I mean, you and I both know that the Outlaws were somewhat of a cult band. I mean, we weren't a household name. Uh, Leonard Skinner and the Allman Brothers, and even to a certain extent, Marshall Tucker had more. Charlie Daniels, they just had more exposure in the media marketplace. But the Outlaws, to this day, are one of the best bands from that genre and playing at an extremely high level.
What do you attest to the success of the band, still being around after all these years?
Consistency and professionalism. I mean, we get up, we we you can only play the show really one way. You cannot phone it in. You have to play the show completely from the heart. And the energy, the musicianship, I mean, it's intricate, much more so than some of our peer groups' musical offerings. And I don't know, it's just really well sung. The three-part harmony issue is in great shape. There's really five great singers in the band, and we all have parts, and we know our parts, and we sing them in tune. And it's kind of like we play like the Almonds and we sing like the Eagles.
So when the band was put together decades ago, when you put the band together back then, did you think? I mean, a lot of people, especially when you're younger, you don't think of the future, but are you often surprised, like, hey man, we're still doing this all these years later, and we're still drawing a crowd? Did you think in those terms back then when you first started?
Sorry, I was trying to reconnect. No, I mean, you never can think, obviously, 50 years down the road. I mean, there was a time in the late 70s, early 80s where the genre just fell off the radar screen and ceased to be popular. And that is a secular thing in popular. You're only given a certain time frame to be who it is you hope you are. But given enough time, it came back around. I would say in the late 90s, early 2000s, when Leonard Skinner got back together and the Allman Brothers were playing, at a high level, that the genre sort of re-energized. And at that point, the Outlaws came back in '05 with a 30-year reunion tour, and it was well received. And since then, I mean, the band has grown in popularity to the point where you could say that, we are kind of back where we started.
When you look in the
That
crowd, obviously you see fans who've been there the past 50 years, but I'm sure too, you look out in the crowd and you see some people younger. And, how does that feel as a musician to know that your music has reached generations?
Well, I think the musical issue is what attracts them. And not everybody likes music the same. Some people like it more than other people. For people that don't care about music that much, top 40 radio seems to do the job. But people that love music, they find it, they go out and they seek it. And if they land on a band like the Outlaws that's playing at this extremely high level and singing and, putting an energetic and heartfelt and really committed performance on it, that's it. They're there. Now, I mean, I would say the majority of our audience is male, probably 60-40 male, female, between the ages of 40 and 60 years old of age, people that were kids when we first came out. And they're very, very appreciative and really invested in the group emotionally. It's crazy how rock and roll people invest themselves emotionally in a band.
Hmm. Yeah, they
And
find every
that's good.
re-release and everything.
Yeah, they want the shirt, and they want the hat, and they want to say hello and shake your hand and tell you thank you for keeping the music alive. And I did a musical cruise with what's his name, the singer from The Who, and Roger Daltrey, and I was amazed at how wonderful he was. He took care of himself, and he didn't fall into the drug and alcohol hole, and he's an incredible performer. And I just think that if you were able to sidestep that lie, that myth of drugs and alcohol, and then you have really something to live for and really something worthwhile to offer, because music from that time period was better. And I'm talking about not just the Outlaws, but I'm talking about bands like, oh, I don't know, Yes.
Hmm.
I mean, good God, I mean, the musicianship in Rush, and just it goes on and on and on. And so the musical personalities are engaging and real intricate and interesting. And they come out to an Outlaw show, and boy, they walk away going, that is so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Do you have a memory of your career with the Outlaws that stands out above others? I'm sure there's many, but is there one in particular?
Well, yes, I mean, there are the first time that we got a phone call and we were told that we were going to go open for the Rolling Stones in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And we were in Cleveland that night when we found out about this, and we had to travel, hustle our butts over there overnight to get there in time to open for the Rolling Stones. That was a big night. The night that Clive Davis came to Columbus, Georgia, came backstage and shook our hands and told us he was going to sign us to his new label, Arista. That was the moment. That was the moment where your dream came true. And, dreams have a way of becoming tarnished in the process of coming true.
Hmm.
But that was a moment that could not be equaled in any way. So yeah, there are those kinds of things. And seeing your record go up the charts, getting a billboard, seeing your record sit at number 13, I mean, it's going back to New York City to play Madison Square Garden, you know, and when you lived in Greenwich Village and dreamed of being a singer and a songwriter, it was crazy.
So your last album, I believe, came out, what was it, about 4 years ago, Dixie Highway. Any,
Yes,
is there any plans on making any more new music with the Outlaws?
yes, I am going to go in the studio with the band this year, probably early fall, and we're going to cut what I'm going to refer to as a revival, a retrospective revival record of songs from my peer group, whether it was Marshall Tucker, Leonard Skinner, the Allman Brothers, or Charlie Daniels. Those four bands.
Mhm.
That's my peer group. I'm going to cut my favorite songs from those four bands, and I'm going to put a show out there in 2025. It's going to showcase this new music as seen through the eyes and ears and musical personality of the Outlaws. And it will be played faithful to the original, but it'll also be, we'll have an opportunity to invest ourselves in it. And when you come out to a show, you're going to come out and you're going to see 2 to 3 hours of some of the greatest songs from my younger days and some of the best of what the Outlaws contributed to that. So I expect that to make the 50th anniversary of the release of our first album something really meaningful.
Well, that's really cool. So you're going to record those songs from those four bands, your favorite songs. Are you going to stick with
Yeah.
their hits? Are you going to go to like your favorite songs, like maybe some of the deeper stuff?
No, I'm gonna wander off a little. I don't want to, I think it would behoove me not to do Sweet Home Alabama, but on the other hand, if I want to do, Working for MCA or, Call Me the Breeze, things that I just love. I love Working for MCA. I love the Alabama Kid, I got my pistols and I'm Alabama bound. Just a part of what Leonard Skinner was that was very charming and very organic and very close to my heart from the standpoint of appeal.
And then you were saying that maybe 2025 this will come out?
Yes, it'll come out next year. It'll be in line. I've written an autobiography and about being a part of this book, and having a ringside seat to it and just telling the stories of what it was like and how it happened and along with the book and this revival anthology record. I just we have so much, and we'll probably record a couple new songs, outlaw songs, to go on this record, but we have so much music to play from the days of the original band to the last It's About Pride and Dixie Highway. There's some great music on both those records, so we've got a lot to work with.
Who's in the band right now with you?
Who's what? I'm sorry.
Who's in the band with you right now?
Well, there's a guy by the name of Randy. Randy came out. Randy played with me in Black Hawk, and he came out and he did the '05 reunion tour. Dave Robbins is a founding member of Black Hawk. He came out with me and Huey and Monty, and he did the '05 reunion tour. They're both in the band. Monty Yoho, the original drummer, who is the only other member of the band that's still alive, is retired. He physically gave out and could not play anymore. So a guy that played with me in Black Hawk as well, a guy by the name of Mike Bailey, came out and is playing drums with the band. The lead guitar players are two. One's a young guy that wasn't even alive when the first album came out, but he's a brilliant talent, a great singer, and a sweet, sweetheart. A guy by the name of Jeff Pollock. And then there's a guy I've known since the late '80s who's just a wizard on guitar, a guy by the name of Jimmy Dormeyer. And those two guys have an excellent chemistry, and the band is pretty much lights out.
So when you play with the Outlaws, do you do any of your solo stuff or any stuff Black Hawk music as well?
No, no, not the Black Hawk stuff. The Henry Paul band stuff interfaces really well.
Oh, great.
Right. We do Grey Ghost every night. We do So Long off the first album, Henry Paul band record. But mainly I try to first three albums, which I consider to be the hallmark of the Outlaws' musical personality, the self-titled Lady in Waiting and Very Sundown. And then I do things off of It's About Pride, and I do things off of Dixie Highway. And there's a ton of stuff amongst all of that. There's a few things I do from the band later in their career near the end. Ghost Riders, the cover of the Stan Jones song. And we do one of my favorite songs that my friend Huey wrote, a song called You Are the Show. But aside from that, we stick mainly to new music and the Hallmark first three albums.
How long is an Outlaws concert? I mean, some of your songs are lengthy, so I'm kind of curious how long the show lasts.
A couple hours.
Oh,
We break down in the middle and do a 4-song acoustic set just to give everybody a little breathing room, you know. And the band sings incredible, so it's a great moment for people to appreciate the singing in the band. And then we fire right back up and continue the beating, and it's end of the night. People are beaten half to death, but it's a good thing.
well, we're talking with Henry Paul of the Outlaws. They're going to be here in Tucson Saturday night at the Rialto Theater. You can still get your tickets at the Rialto website or at their box office or even at klpx.com. Henry, I appreciate you taking time hanging out with us here in Tucson a little bit before you get here this weekend.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging in there with me until we could get our respective technological stuff together.
Well, I just got a quick question for you. You're on the bus right now, right?
I am. I swear. I'm surrounded by nothing but talent.
And is the bus driving right now?
Yeah, we're hauling ass down. I'm passing the Illinois State Penitentiary on my left, and some kind of soybean farm over there. So we're on our way to Colorado.
I mean, think about the technology. I'm sitting here in Tucson. We're talking to each other on a video chat while you're hauling down the highway right now. So that's hey, the technology is pretty cool.
A bunch of jailbirds over there. Poor guys. Hate it for them.
Well, Henry, if people want to keep up with the band, is there a website or social
our
media?
website is outlawsmusic.com.
Outlawsmusic.com. And are you guys on social media as well?
Yeah, we have Facebook, and I think I don't know the name. Instagram. There you go.
All right. Well, Henry, thank you so much for taking time, man. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing the show on Saturday.
Oh, good. It'll be good to see you. And I know I'll recognize you.
Yeah, you can't miss this bald head and the beard.
You
So,
got it down there and not up there, and it'll be good.
as I tell my friends, my hair slipped as I got older. So, hey,
Listen, it's better to have it down there than it is up there.
yeah, exactly. Well, Henry, hold on a second. I want to get a couple more things from you, but this will wrap up the interview portion of it. Again, the Outlaws Saturday night at the Rialto Theater here in Tucson. Details at the Rialto Theater box office and their website, and of course at klpx.com.